Okay. Okay. This time of year can be very hard for single people. There's engaged people, married people, people just dating, and they aren't shy about it. Good for them, but not good for us. It's really easy to get jealous, sad, and depressed. I mean, not me personally, but probably like for you guys. But that's why we can date ourselves. We don't need other people right now. Woohoo! So, what does dating yourself even mean? Dating yourself means getting to know yourself, finding joy in being alone, figuring out who you are, and taking yourself on dates. So let's talk about the latter first. What does taking yourself on dates even mean? It's basically going on a date with yourself. Crazy. So let's talk about some ideas. So you can go on a picnic, go on a hike, walks, biking, just going outside in general. You can go to a new restaurant or an old restaurant. Something I haven't done yet because I'm too scared is going to a sit-down restaurant by myself, but I'm gonna do it eventually, and I challenge you to do that too. Going to a library, finding a new book and reading it in a new place. Going to art museums, just finding art around and different exhibits. Bowling, ice skating, rollerblading, roller skating, really anything that you would do on a date with another person, you can do by yourself. Something else I recommend is learning new hobbies or expanding on the hobbies that you already have. So, some ideas: painting, drawing, sketching, sewing, knitting, crocheting, playing the piano, guitar, drums, lifting, going to the gym. Again, pretty much anything that you can do it. And the good thing about the hobbies is you don't have to be good at it. That's the most important part. It's just finding joy in doing it. So for example, I am not good at painting, but I like to do it, so I do it because it makes me happy. So when you're doing this journey, you need to ask yourself a few questions. I need to make sure this is actually recording. It is. The screen went dark. Cool. So some questions to ask yourself are, what do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What do I want people to think of me as? Not that that should matter, but it can help you kind of build around how you're going to do this. What makes me happy and brings me joy? And what would the best version of myself look like? So using these questions, you can say, well, I want to be adventurous and spontaneous. So you would do things like go rock climbing, go hunting, try new things, go to new restaurants, go on road trips, and this would help you become that best version of yourself. So why should we even date ourselves? Because it sounds awkward and weird, and half the time I don't want to do it. The thing is, dating yourself leads to self-love. Bianca Rodriguez, a licensed family and marriage therapist, says, the most important relationship you have is with yourself. Learning to love, appreciate, and celebrate yourself is a skill most people aren't taught, but they should be. Dating yourself can help you build self-love. So really, the most important thing, in my opinion, for mental health and even physical health, and a lot of times, is self-love. One of the metaphors I came across when I was researching about this is the oxygen mask metaphor. So if you've been on an airplane, they do the whole thing telling you about safety, to do this thing that I don't remember why. But when there's an emergency, the oxygen mask will come down, and they tell you if you have a kid, you have to give it to yourself first before them. So we can apply this a lot in loving ourselves and dating. We have to learn how to love ourselves before we can love somebody else. But then I'm going to say something that contradicts it a little. I think it can be a lot of pressure to think, well, in order to love somebody else, I have to love myself a lot. But that doesn't work all the time. It's hard to love ourselves fully. We ebb and flow with it. So I think just as long as we're learning how to love ourselves and making progress, that's what's important. Now we're going to talk about the love languages. Ooh. So the love languages, there's 5 of them. And this is basically the best way that people receive and give love with other people. So there's physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, giving gifts, and quality time. But guess what? You can show these to yourself. So let's talk about them. First is physical touch. And you're like, how can I give this to myself? This is a little weird. Well, you can do things like getting a manicure, a pedicure, getting that physical contact, going to animal shelters and hanging out with pets. Again, the physical contact, getting a massage, hugging your relatives and your friends, and even giving yourself a hug is nice. Sounds weird, but it's nice. The next one is words of affirmation. This is my number one. I love her. Something that I do for myself is writing in my journal. I write 3 things every night that I love about myself. Sometimes I write them about my body or my personality or different skills and qualities that I have. This just shows me that I appreciate and love myself. Another thing you can do is looking in the mirror, morning, night, any time of the day, and telling yourself different things like, I am beautiful, I have self-worth, and really complimenting yourself. Just showing that appreciation to yourself in that way. Quality time is another one. And this goes along with going on dates with yourself. So really spending that time doing things that you love and paying attention to yourself is really important. Something with quality time I have to remember is putting away my phone and other distractions, because I'm not really spending time with myself. If I'm texting other people, I'm on social media. So something I do is I go on long drives and use up my gas. That's for my mental health. Listening to music and podcasts, and even just silent and talking to myself. It's not weird, it's cool. Another thing I would say that I do for myself is a lot of movie nights where I just put away distractions and I watch a new movie, which is really fun. Okay, acts of service. You're probably like, how can I serve myself? That's for other people. No. Something that I do for myself is I make my bed. I used to not do that, but I'm an adult now. So I make my bed every morning, and when I come back from work, I'm like, who did this? This is perfect. And I did it for myself. And I say, thank you, self. That's so nice. And then I mess it up. But I clean my room, and I make sure that my things are taken care of, and I do things for myself that I'm going to thank myself for later. So that's some ways you can do that. The last one is gifts. Now, I want to be able to tell you, go spend your money, and it'll make you happier. Sometimes that works. But the thing is, you have to have a budget, and what's it called? Retail therapy, that's the word. It doesn't always work, but doing things like going thrifting, getting yourself a treat every now and then, just letting yourself treat yourself, like getting flowers, is really important. And it just shows yourself that you care about yourself and your well-being. And that goes for all of these things. So now I'm going to talk about my story. Look how cute I am. My little brother cut my eye open. But there I am treating myself to a sucker. So I just thought that picture was cute. So when COVID started, I was living at home, just like I am now, but it's better now. And I was a couple months before diagnosed with depression and anxiety. So I was pretty miserable, as I'm sure a lot of people were. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like being alone. It was pretty much just like the worst. So I decided, I was like, I can't live like this anymore. So I have to do something about it. And the ideal thing about this time is I literally couldn't date other people because you couldn't be with other people. So I chose to date myself. So things that I would do, I would go out and try new things. I tried boba, and I don't know if it was the combination or something, but I did not like it. But it was a fun experience for myself. I taught myself how to skateboard. Also not good at that. But my skateboard is pink, and she's cute, and I love it. So it's okay. And I really just spent time with myself. At night, especially on the weekends, and I still do this a lot, I would put away distractions. I'd take a nice shower, do some self-care. I'd get a treat, light a candle in my room, turn off the lights, and I'd watch a movie that I hadn't seen before or that I really liked. And it was like a little date night. And it was just showing myself the appreciation I have for myself and that I deserve those things, even though no one at the time was giving that to me. So this was honestly the best thing I could have done for myself in this time. I really believe it's because of dating myself and going on the self-love journey that I am happier, I'm more successful, my relationships are so much better, I'm not annoying or mean anymore for the most part. I just am living a better life, and I have hope for the future for the first time in a really long time. So that's something that's really helped me. So what's something that you can do today to start dating yourself and loving yourself? My suggestion is journaling. So tonight, or whenever you want to, you don't have to, just writing down your fears, your expectations, what you want to happen of dating yourself or going on this self-love journey. And just make a plan. What are you going to do? What's your first date going to be like? Or do you just want to be spontaneous? Just go out and drive and do what you want. Because that's the ideal thing when you're dating yourself. It's all about you. And that can be life-changing. Thank you.
Okay, let's stop this. You better have been recording.